You could have 365 days of not looking at porn, but still be stuck in that same grip that you're white knuckling every single day. The difference for me was a trainer teaching me the underlying theory and technique of lifting. Just like when I joined the Liberation Boot Camp a couple years back, I was like, oh, I started to understand porn is not about sex. We think it's about sex because porn is visualization of sex, but it's really not. It's more about managing the pain that we're going through in our lives. It's a coping mechanism.
Brothers, welcome to today's episode of the Recovered Dad podcast. We're happy to have you back. We are your hosts. My name is Matthew Sinkovitz. This is my partner in recovery, as we say, Yaden Smith. Yaden, welcome, brother. Good to be here with you today.
Matt, always good to be in front of the camera, behind the microphone, talking about our favorite podcasting topic.
Let's do it, man. Yaden, what do we got for a conversation today?
You know, I want to start with a story. So let's see. About 2 weeks ago now when this happened, but I just joined Planet Fitness. I recently joined Planet Fitness. I joined Planet Fitness about a month ago, and I was at the gym. Now, for those of you who may have been listening for a while, like I lift weights, I train, I did an Ironman 3 years ago, I run, done a Spartan. Matt, you just did a Spartan this past weekend, right? Like I'm wearing, like, where's your Spartan t-shirt, man? You didn't get the memo for what the uniform is today.
Damn. It's right? In the wash. It's in the wash.
Okay. Oh, yeah, there you go. It's in the wash. So like strength training is a part of my weekly cadence. I've been working with a trainer for 4 years, really focused on technique and muscle building, lean muscle, because I want to be able to go up and down stairs when I'm 80, bottom line, right? I want to be able to stand up off the toilet and not need assistance until I'm, that's my goal. And I joined Planet Fitness not because I needed it, but really because my boys joined. Because Planet Fitness has this cool feature where if you're a teenager from 14 to 19 years of age in the summer, you can join for free, which is genius marketing for them. It's like, get teenagers used to coming. And then when they age out of this free system, it's like, hey, $15 a month and you can keep coming. Or $30 a month for the black card and you can go to any Planet Fitness. So I joined Planet Fitness mainly so I can spend time with my boys. But honestly, I've kind of fallen in love with that place. It's like they got all the machines. They got these massage chairs. They got this cryotherapy chair where I can like chill my legs down after a run. I enjoy going. But I remember going for one of the first couple times. I was there with my son, 13-year-old son. We were there. We were doing bench press and deadlift. And Planet Fitness now, they have bars and plates, and they have these 3 massive rack systems in one of the corners. So we're in there lifting. We finished with both machine, we were using both for the bench press, then we moved to one for deadlift. And one of the things that I started to notice was what kind of technique other people are using. And I have to give kudos to my trainer. My trainer, Brian, who I've been working with for years now, I remember him telling me when I first started lifting with him, and I started lifting with a trainer for this very specific reason. Like, Brian, I know I don't know good technique. And I also know me. If I do this on my own, 1, I'm not going to get the results. And 2, I'm probably going to injure myself and then quit. So my only rule with lifting is live to lift another day. Do not injure yourself. That is my only rule. Everything else, like, do whatever you want. Just don't injure yourself. And as I'm looking around at Planet Fitness, honestly, I couldn't help but notice the wide variety of technique that was going on. And at first, right, this little voice in my head, all judgy McJudgerton, like, yeah, that guy doesn't know what he's doing. Like, that guy's using his whole body for those curls. Like, I don't care if there's 65 dumbbells. Like, he's getting more work in his lower back than he is in his bicep. And then another voice started, not as loud as that, but the volume started to turn up in this other softer voice that said, hey, man, these people who are here at Planet Fitness, this is not normal. It's not normal for somebody to be, wagging so hard to get a bicep curl done. It's not normal for somebody to do a bench press rep like that. You know what is normal? Normal is being at home, watching Netflix, and eating Doritos with a 6-pack of your favorite cold beer. That's normal. These people who are out here Planet Fitness, so what if their technique is not right? They're out here putting in reps, working to make themselves better physically. That's not normal. I remember seeing something online. I was like, hey, you know what? Running a 15-minute mile, that's not normal. What's normal is not running at all. Doesn't matter how slow you run. That's not normal. What's normal is beer and pizza instead of going out for a run. And this compassionate voice overtook this judgy voice. It's like, and I started looking around. It's like, man, kudos to this dude doing bench press. I mean, I hope he doesn't injure himself, right? It's like, it looks like he's been lifting long enough to bench 2 plates. It looks like he kind of knows what he's doing, but his technique just wasn't quite there. Now, if you lift and you train, I'm not judging. I'm just observing. But I noticed the lack of technique, lack of proper form, which is a thing with weightlifting. If you're lifting heavy weights and you don't have proper form, your risk of injury goes up. And at 45, I don't recover like I used to. If my 18-year-old son injures himself, he's going to be okay in a week. If I jack up my shoulder, it's 6 months before I'm back. So it is more critical for me at my stage in life to have proper technique and proper form than for somebody else. So I'm not judging, but I started thinking about this, where all these people are showing up to Planet Fitness, putting in the reps. And I started thinking about myself, how in my recovery journey, when I was by myself, I know last week, Matt, we did a podcast about how you can't recover in isolation. You can't go through recovery in secret. It's not a secret thing. You can't do it by yourself. You need a community, right? Recovery is a group project, but not the sucky kind that you had to do in high school or college, where you're the only one doing the work and everybody else just rides on your coat. It's like legit community support and visibility. And I started thinking, when I was trying to do recovery on my own, yeah, I would make it 30 days without, and then, reset, make it a week, make it another 30 days. Like, I was getting in reps, but I never made the real progress that I wanted. And I even started thinking about, and I know I also mentioned this last week, I started thinking about how even when I was in a community of fitness, I really wasn't making the progress strength-wise that I wanted. And I started thinking about that with fitness, strength, recovery. And the thing that made the difference for me with my strength training was having a coach, having a trainer, having somebody who had done it before, who knew how to teach me the skills of lifting, so that I can do this for the rest of my life, even if I don't work with a trainer. I have the technique down. I have the form. I have the skills to lift heavy weights for as long as I can for the rest of my life. And I started thinking about how the recovery journey kind of parallels the fitness journey. Yeah, you can go a long way on your own in fitness. You can even make a lot of progress on your own with recovery, right? You could make it a year of sobriety. But the thing is, sobriety and recovery are not the same thing. Sobriety is just, you could go to the gym every day for a year and not get the progress that you want. You could have 365 days of not looking at, but still be stuck in that same grip that you're white knuckling every single day. The difference for me was a trainer teaching me the underlying theory and technique of lifting. Just like when I joined the Liberation Boot Camp a couple years back, I was like, I started to understand porn is not about sex. And we've done, kind of the myth busting podcasts talking about the myths of addiction, where men, we think it's about sex because visualization of sex. But it's really not. It's more about managing the pain that we're going through in our lives. It's a coping mechanism. And as I started to learn these skills from the program, from the curriculum, from working with you, right? Other men in the community teaching me, oh, these are the skills that I need. This is the technique that I need to actually maintain my recovery trajectory, to keep moving forward with my recovery. Has my sobriety been perfect since I started? No, it hasn't. There have been times where I've had to reset my tracker. But even so, one of the things we say in the Noble Code, this kind of creed that we have, if I stray from the path, I vow to return. I get back up, get back on the path, and take the next step. Just like with my lifting, if something happens and I get injured, I rest, recover, did something wrong, technique was off, who knows what, get back on my lifting plan, get back on the path to build more lean muscle, to build more strength. Recovery is no different. Working with a coach, working with a trainer, having somebody who's done it and built those skills and knows what the skills are that you need to be effective in your recovery. Because how many times have you said to someone, like, yeah, you know what? I have an issue, like I'm really kind of struggling with, and what's a common answer? She's like, have you tried not? That's not a technique. That's not a skill. That's not something that you can learn how to do better. But journaling, books that we read, being vulnerable, being visible in a community, meditation, right? There are very specific skills that you can learn, that you can apply to recovery, that will let you stay on the sobriety path long term. Not just white knuckling it, hoping that the pull and the grip and the desire fades away over time. Let me tell you, I was stuck in it for decades, for 34 years. Was it 34 years? 14 to 24 years. 14 to 40. So 26 years.
Quarter century.
No. Sorry. I was 8. That's why it's like 8 to 42. Yeah, that is 34 years. I stumbled on when I was 8, latched onto me. I latched onto it. That was my coping mechanism for the next 34 years of my life. And it took working with somebody who had built healthy coping mechanisms, teaching me is like, hey, here's how you can cope with this in a healthy way. And when I would reset my trace, like, oh, well, what happened? Oh, okay. These were the circumstances. Yes, no wonder. Your defenses were weak here. Here's a skill that will help you with that. And here's how you can practice that skill. It's because recovery from not normal. Not normal. I know for me, before I found the Liberation Bootcamp, I had literally given up all hope that I would ever have this fixed, solved, that I would ever kick this habit. Because I had tried quitting, I'm an expert at quitting. I've quit 1,000 times. And finally, it's just like, you know what? I can't do it. I can't stop. So I gave up hope. And I was just trying to manage it the best I could to keep it from destroying my life. And that is not a technique for success. That's a technique for despair, right? It's like, you know what? Tomorrow's going to be just the same as today. Nothing I can do. But learning very specific skills, being in a community where it's safe to talk about, where it's safe to talk about the struggle, about the draw, the pull, safe to talk about the pain in our lives, and brains like, what can I do in this situation? I need help. Oh, here's a skill that you need in this situation. Here's what you need to cope with the pain in this moment. Oh, I can practice that. I can get better at that skill. So that's the story, the monologue, this, stepping off of my soapbox now. But it really hit me as I was at Planet Fitness, that judging voice popped out. Now, I don't have a judgy voice anymore about fitness. I don't have a judgy voice about ever anymore. Because, man, there but for the grace of God goes Yaden Smith when it comes to use and addiction. So for the conversations that I've had with men about like, man, I see you and I know the pain. And I'm not even judging you if you're not ready to start recovery yet. Every man finds recovery at his own pace. But for dads out there, I'm just throwing this out there. For dads, we can't move too slowly. Our kids grow up whether we are ready for them to grow up or not. My 18-year-old son is up at a theme park today with his 18-year-old girlfriend. And I'm like, what? I am not ready for him to have a girlfriend and be having a girlfriend, want to go, spend time with his girlfriend. I'm not, what happened to my 12-year-old son who was just happy and smiley? No, now I got an 18-year-old who's moody and thinks I'm overbearing and he don't want to take the trash out. Blah, blah, blah. Anyways, if you're a dad, the clock is ticking. And don't wait until it's too late to get on this path to become a recovered dad. Don't wait. So that's what I got for this week, Matt. Talking about, the not normal of even showing up, even if your technique is bad.
Yeah,
the
man.
not normal of fighting, even if you're not getting good success.
That's it, man.
Right?
What is your what are your famous sayings, Jaden? I know you brought it from somebody else. It's more about showing up, even if you're doing it ugly, right? The man that shows up, 90% of the time with 10% effort beats the man that shows up 10% of the time with 90% effort, something like that every time.
Absolutely right.
Right.
The man who shows up 90% of the time with 10% effort will always outperform the man who shows up 10% of the time with 90% effort.
So even if you're that man in the gym with the ugly form, right, at least you're showing up. And even if you're showing up the recovery journey and it looks ugly and you're not getting it, at least you're showing up. That's the name of the game. And we continue to show up and continue to show up. And eventually we see the growth that we're desiring.
Yeah, it's layers that we have to unpack.
Yeah.
It's not, here, go through this, read this book, and then you'll never have to worry about it again. That's not how it works. Unfortunately. I wish it were. I wish it were. It's not even like listen to this podcast and you'll be okay. Unfortunately, no.
Got to put the reps.
It takes focus. It takes effort. It takes community, like we talked about last week. This doesn't happen in secret.
Yep.
But I want to encourage you men out there who are doing anything. If you're doing anything on this journey, even just listening to this podcast, kudos to you.
Yep.
Kudos to you for doing something to move yourself forward on this recovery journey. And my encouragement to you is find somebody who has done it. Find somebody who knows what the skills are, what skills it takes to really lock this in and be successful long term for the course of the rest of your life, because it's worth it. Our kids are relying on us to become the dads that they need.
Yep.
And recovery is a key piece of the puzzle.
Yep. So, brothers, if you're tuned in out there and you're interested in learning more, maybe you're looking to begin your journey or begin to strengthen your journey, I want to invite you to head on over to therecovereddad.com, where you can learn more about us, the community, myself, Yaden, what we're up to. You can learn about the Liberation Bootcamp, and you can learn about our newest offering, the 7-day reboot challenge. Go to recovereddad.com/reboot. We got a 7-day challenge coming up, which we're going to be doing regularly. It's going to give you 7 days of community, of fellowship, of guidance, of recovery support, and give you an opportunity to see what life feels like a week at a time, free, and notice what you notice for yourself, brothers. You got to experience the change in your own journey.
Yeah, man. Thanks for tuning in this week, brothers. Dads out there. We'll catch you in the next episode. In the meantime, peace. Power.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Shaden.
Noble men.
Bye-bye.